Hi guys, it's Alea. I know I'm posting this video a bit late tonight. I did actually film it earlier on in the evening. I went down to the beach and filmed the video. Unfortunately, when I was watching it a few minutes ago, I realized that it was actually really windy at the beach, and it was so windy that you guys wouldn't have been able to hear anything that I was saying. So I do have some other some photos from when I was down there that I'll probably post on Instagram tonight after I've finished filming this. So I'm just gonna be really quick today because I want to do this video and probably settle in for the night. So it is day 19 of the 31 days of witchcraft challenge, and I want to catch up with the question that I missed from yesterday, which was from the "What kind of witch are you?" tag. The one that I put with it was question 1 from the tag, which was, when did you first know that you were a witch? I knew pretty early on that I was a witch as I was going to primary school, and I would tell people, I'm a witch, because I thought, they were all talking about their religions and their beliefs, and they weren't being called crazy and all that sort of stuff. And no one believed me. They thought I was nuts. You have to bear in mind, though, at the time, Harry Potter had just come out. Not just come out, but like the series was all brand new. Like the movies were still coming out. We were still reading the books as soon as they came out. Like, that's how old I am, guys. I was in primary school when all that stuff was coming out. I was younger than the people who were playing the characters in there. But I remember them all. Yeah, so when that was still coming out, I was like, oh, okay. And that didn't stop, the moment that I said that and tried to explain it. And I couldn't really explain it because I wasn't old enough to really understand the concepts around it all, I guess. Yeah. So I was quite young when I knew I was a witch, but I also learned a few lessons that I realized I didn't really understand what I was talking about. But when I was old enough to understand what the word witch meant to me, I realized, yeah, no, this is definitely who I am. Obviously, well, I'm very clearly a witch, and I want to do it. And I think I was about 9 or 10 or probably 11 or 12 actually, when I realized that I understood what I was talking about as far as being a witch. Not so much just the name, but what it actually meant to me to be a witch. Sorry, my hair has gone all crazy. This is from the wind, you guys. My hair is all nuts from the wind. But it was even crazier down there. You'll see from some of those photos, I think. So let's jump into it. Actually, I think I might pour myself some tea. I made some more solar tea, you guys. Probably not as strong as the other night. It's because I put less in it from each. Just trying to settle in for the night, you guys. Pouring myself the tea. It's the earlier one, so it's still quite yellow. Hasn't had as long to brew. Okay. Oh, very nearly dropped some of my tea. Okay. So day 19, which means, if you guys have been following, it's question 20. Question 20 is, what do you do when you are in a witchy funk? Explains why I went to the beach earlier. When I'm in a witchy funk, I go to the beach, or I don't realize that I'm in a witchy funk. I'm just in a funk in general. I go down to the beach because it's a very spiritual place for me. It's very peaceful. Whenever I'm sort of tense or just needing to relax, I go down to the beach when it's towards the end of the day, early evening, and just touch base. And I guess I've been in a bit of a funk since I stopped posting videos, actually, which isn't a very long one. It's just one where I sort of go, okay, I really need to go to the beach. And, you know, when I get down there, I go, okay, so I've been stressed a lot, you know, because this and that. And I sort of meditate while I'm down there, watching the ocean, feeling my emotions, sort of connecting to those waves. And, you know, I just sort of let myself relax while I'm down there. And then once I am in that state of relaxation, I can then come back to myself and go, okay, so where do I want to go now? What are my goals for, you know, the end of today, for the rest of today? Or is there something that I might want to do tomorrow? I don't plan big things. I did have a lot of plans for what I wanted to do this weekend. Realistically, most of it hasn't panned out so far. Just, yeah, needing to take a minute and go, okay, it's okay. You're allowed to be busy, you're allowed to experience life, that's part of it, and then, yeah, take it one step at a time. If there's something that I want to do, that I'm really wanting to do, that I think will make me happier and feel good about myself for completing it, and it's not something that's huge, like baking some bread. I really enjoy baking focaccia, and making a little pretty picture with some vegetables on top before I put it into the oven and bake it, so it comes out all pretty, and it makes me feel like I've achieved something amazing. So I'm pretty sure that's what my plan for tomorrow is going to be. Like, it doesn't matter when it happens, it doesn't matter how long it takes for me to get there. If I film it, which I'm wanting to do, if I film doing it, or if I don't, you know, just not setting too many expectations on myself. Just sort of go, okay, just relax a minute, bring it all back. You know, my daily practice isn't something that's extensive, but even still, if I'm in a really bad witchy funk where it's been a couple of months or a couple of weeks, well, a couple of weeks or a couple of months, or it's, you know, been longer than that, then I sort of go, okay, well, maybe instead of having a daily practice, I'll bring it right back to bare bones and make it once a week, which is, you know, that's okay. You're allowed to have a weekly practice instead of a daily practice. You don't have to have a daily practice. You don't have to have a weekly practice. You don't have to have a regular practice at all if that's something that's just going to make you stress out. And that's something that you have to figure out for yourself. For me, I like having my daily practice because it's a time at the end of the day that I can come back to myself and go and give myself a minute to, you know, to reflect on what I've been doing for the day, and maybe delve deeper into some thoughts that I've had throughout the day that I haven't really given myself enough time to think about or ponder, or think about my actions, how have I acted throughout the day. But all of that can be taken right back to just meditating and bringing myself a moment of peace. And that's it. Just light a candle, meditate for a couple of minutes, bring yourself a moment of peace, and that's it. And if I do that once a week, then it still makes me feel better. It still makes me feel like I've achieved something in it. And it also brings me that peace that I've been looking for. You know, I have a pretty stressful day-to-day life. You know, I've got 4 animals. They're not calm all the time. They're not relaxed all the time. They're a lot of work. I have 4 pets, and I have 1 child who is incredible, and I love him with all of my being. But he can be quite hard to handle sometimes, and that's okay too. It's okay as long as you're able to recognize what you're going through and go, okay, no, let's take it all back and limit the expectations to one thing that I can do for myself that's going to help me and not hinder me. So if it's just taking everything back to on one night on the Friday night, which is the night that my son is with my mum for respite, then yep, that one night I will take 5 minutes for myself. I will light a candle on my altar and I will meditate for 5 minutes and just calm myself and bring myself back to myself. And maybe, you know, after a couple of weeks or a month, I will extend that time to 20 minutes and, you know, keep it going, you know. And then after a while, once I'm really back into my rhythm and I'm able to handle another activity, I'll meditate and then I'll do a little bit of yoga. You know, not too much, just enough to sort of go stretch and relax. And I think that should be enough. The question from the "what kind of witch are you" tag for today is, what do you do when you feel out of touch with your craft? Which is different from what I do when I am just in a bit of a witchy funk. A witchy funk is different. That's, you know, you're close to burnout or you have burnt out and you really just need to calm yourself down and relax a bit. If I feel out of touch with my craft, it's different for me. It's not so much that I'm in a funk, it's just for some reason I'm just not connecting to anything at the time. And that can go on for months, whether I'm doing my daily practice or not. So hang on just a sec. Yeah, so when I'm out of touch with my craft, it's more like I am just not connecting as well as or as easily as I usually do. And when I'm like that, I tend to go to a witchy store or no, that's basically, I tend to watch some other witches on YouTube that I subscribe to, and see how they're going with their YouTube life and witchy life, and yeah, so I'll watch them and I'll go to a witchy store and I might buy a couple of candles, or you know, I'll buy some herbs or a book. You know, it's not something that needs to be big. Even just visiting those stores and buying a $2 candle makes me feel like I've got that connection to my craft once again. And if that doesn't work, then I just do little things where, you know, maybe I might need to take a break. And if I realize that I need to take a break, then I do. You know, I don't pack my altar up. I don't put everything away, because, you know, I've still got my faith, I've still got my practice that I like to do, and my meditation and my yoga is part of my daily practice, and it's not something that I do solely for my craft. It's for me too. And I find that when I do that every day, I am a lot more relaxed and I'm a lot calmer the next day, or at least the beginning of the next day, and it's able to get me through to whatever issues that I may face throughout that day. Whereas when I don't do that, I tend to be a bit more stressed. So when I'm not in a burnout state, but I am out of touch with my craft, I tend to put away my boss. Like, I put it up on my shelf, which you guys would have seen in the first video that I posted, or the second one, I'm not entirely sure. It could be both. But I will, yeah, I'll put the boss away. I won't punish myself. I won't be angry with myself for not trying to connect. And then, you know, I will connect one night. It just happens. Sometimes you just need a break and just to let yourself go, okay, let's have a breather. Let's drink some tea and just take a breath, you know? So yeah, that's what I do when I'm in a witchy funk or when I'm feeling a little out of touch with my craft. I want to know. Let me know in the comments. What do you guys do when you're in a witchy funk? Or is your witchy funk the same as your feeling out of touch with your craft? Are they the same thing for you? And what do you guys do? I'm curious. Also, when did you first know that you were a witch? Did it scare you? That is one thing that I would like to know. What did you do when you found out? When you realized that you were a witch? Let me know in the comments below, guys. I love hearing from you guys. Alright, so I will sign off and post this video, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.